Hello, my wonderful art students. Today, I'm going to read you a story. Some of you might have already heard it before, either from me or some of the other teachers, because we love the author and illustrator who writes this book. It is written by Jan Brett, and it is called The Mitten. It is a story that I love to read at this time every year, and we're going to do a little art projects to go along with it. So I hope that you sit back, listen, and enjoy. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother Baba did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally Baba made them. Look at the big mitten holes. The cool thing about her books is we'll have the main story going on here, but in the sides, we will have extra stories going on. So it's pretty cool. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look and see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens." So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. So it's hard to see because it was left in the snow. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. So we see the mole hiding in the mitten, but there's another animal over here. I bet that is what's coming up next. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think that there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. Lots of things happening. I wonder what's coming next. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent a day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. Oh my goodness, that mitten is getting big. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. Oh my goodness, do you think all of those could really fit in a little mitten? I don't think so, but look what's coming up next. Oh my goodness. There can't be any room for more. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. So they let him in because they were afraid of the fox. But look who's coming up next. Oh my goodness. There is no way he's gonna fit, right? I don't know. We'll have to see. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged too many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast, so it stayed together. Look at the little creature coming up next. Oh my goodness. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. So they made enough room for the little tiny mouse, and look what's coming up next. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. He blew them out of the mitten. Oh my goodness. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. So now the mitten is blowing away and he found it. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. That mitten sure has been through a lot, though. Now, I love this picture. There's no more words, but look. Baba is looking at the mitten, and see how this mitten is way bigger than the normal mitten. Isn't that crazy? I love this story. I hope you enjoyed this story too. And then you can go out and do the art activity that goes along with it. See you soon.